Good morning. Lord, do I have a microphone? Good morning, Unity of Sarasota. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me okay? Oh, we still have music playing too. David, need you get the CD off for me, please? Hi, everybody. Let's take two. I'll wait. A moment of contemplation. Oh, that was fast. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Sarasota, and welcome to Juneteenth. Today is a special holiday, and it's a federal holiday, too. We're going to start off with the Unity hymn. Every prayer is answered. Every prayer is heard. Every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can hold, is already real, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle, and I welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something wonderful is always happening. And right now it's happening in every single seat that you're sitting in, and it's happening in all the seats that no one is sitting in because somebody's sitting there. Do you believe me? Yes. Oh, well, in that case, no. No, it's Sunday. I better behave, right? What do you think? Anyway, it is so good to see all of you and to see all of you that may be joining us on the live stream as well. So let me tell you this. If you happen to be a guest here for the very first time, we would like to honor you. So I want to ask you to stand and remain standing because we'd like to find out where people are visiting from. So if you'll stand if you're here for the very first time. Okay, let's start right over here, Nick. Kansas City, right? Oh, Topeka. Okay. To me, everything is Kansas City, right? You understand? Barbecue. You're Kansas. They're from Kansas. Welcome. I asked them if they brought barbecue, but they didn't. So next time. All right, right over here. Sarasota. Yay. All right. You like Sarasota? Behind me? Oh. Okay, well, we'll get over here.
Stephen Clark?
Where are you from?
Bradenton by way of Cleveland, Ohio.
Bradenton by way of Cleveland, Ohio. And over here?
I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I've actually been down here in Sarasota for a couple of years.
Great. Great. And same?
Chicago, Indiana.
All right. All right, welcome. And you're now here. That's great. Did I see another one over here? I'm seeing things? Okay, just so we know. All right, well, what I want to say is welcome, welcome, welcome. And what I will tell you is that I would invite you to take a welcome packet on your way out. They're in the lobby there. And they're filled with all kinds of information about Unity and about Unity of Sarasota. And we would invite you to fill out the welcome card that is clipped to the back of that welcome packet. We're glad to have you with us, and we look forward to seeing you back and back and back and becoming part of this spiritual community. I want to also welcome those who are joining us on our live stream. Let's wave to everybody who's joining on live stream. That's on our website at unityofsarasota.org. And I have to say, thank you, live stream, for the last year and a half, because you were our lifeline. So thank you to the live stream. You can also watch, if you go to the website, you can watch the recording later, or you can go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page and watch the recording later as well. I just want to say that it's wonderful having all of you here to celebrate with us in whatever capacity you're here and in person or on the live stream. It is so wonderful to have real live people. We've eliminated our cardboard cutouts now. We've retired them. Thank you so much for your service. And just know that wherever you may be in your spiritual journey, you are welcome to join us in this journey that we are on, because it makes the trip more adventurous and more joyful to journey together. So thank you for being part of us. I want to point out that our board member of the day, where is she? There she is. How can I miss her? She's very tall. She's right in the back there. That's Kimberly Bailey. She's our Board of Trustees member for the day. You can talk to Kimberly. Oh, by the way, I keep telling you, you got to watch. You guys got to pay attention. Every week there will be a quiz. What's new this week? Because we're adding new things every week, continuing to behold. We make all things new. So today, fellowship will be in the fellowship hall. All right. So Kimberly will be at the red umbrella table, so you can ask her questions and get to know her and get to know other folks over there and mix and mingle with one another in safe ways. So we ask that you do that. And we've got some beverages and things for you. We're not ready for food yet, but that'll come, you'll see. Actually, I'm trying to cook up something. Well, I personally will not be cooking, but which is a good thing for you. But I'm trying to cook up some sort of a outdoor picnic-ish, barbecue-ish, see, you should have brought barbecue, barbecue-ish sort of thing for the 4th of July. because it happens to fall on a Sunday. So stay tuned and listen to the announcements, and we'll figure out what we're doing. But we're going to do something to celebrate the 4th outside. So you'll dress casual that day. We'll all dress casual that day. Picnic clothes. All right, excellent. Okay. So new things coming. Just keep paying attention. You're going to see new things happening every single week. But know this, no matter during the pandemic or now that we're coming back together, know that Unity of Sarasota is a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. We are an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right here and right now in our lives. And we join with our unity movement worldwide in creating a world that works for all. And if ever there was a time that the world needs to work for all, this is it. So let's work for the world that works for all. You with me? Yeah. All right. I've got a few invitations for your participation. The first thing that I want to note, you can go ahead to the next slide, is that it's Father's Day. And I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers, happy Father's Day to all the men, and happy Father's Day to all the women, because all of us have a little bit of father and mother in us, okay? So we're celebrating all of that. And I do want to tell you this, that last year sometime, or was it the year before? I don't know, I've lost my mind. I've lost track. But we bought some lovely, lovely gifts for the mothers and the fathers. And then we weren't here. And so we put the lovely gifts in a safe place. Uh-oh. And we've yet to find that safe place. It's safe even from us. So therefore, we've got a year to find them. So what we'll ask is that all you mothers and fathers be here next Mother's Day and next Father's Day. There will be gifts. Okay, but we thank you for being who you are. And all of the dads especially. I want to shout out to my dad. Still miss him after all these years. We'd ask also that you go onto all of your social media that you participate in, and that you click all the likes and the loves and the shares and all the ways that you can get the word out to your friends, your acquaintances, and even people you don't know, so that they can know about Unity of Sarasota and come and participate in our Sunday celebration service or our Wednesday evening music and inspiration service at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, that they can celebrate in all the various things that we do. So let people know that we're here and that we're open. That's the main thing. We are open, and when I say open, not just the doors open, but our hearts are open too, to welcome all of you, okay? And then the one last thing, if you would silence your phones, we'd appreciate it, or put it on airplane mode so it doesn't interfere with the sound system. We'd appreciate that very much. Okay, we have a special treat. We have someone who's very new to our community, came for the first time last week, and already she's a star. So I want to invite up Deborah Courtney Johns. I think you go by Courtney. Courtney, come on up. She's going to sing a song that is very pertinent to where we are right now. Everything must change.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Yes, everyone will change. No one goes unchanged. The young become the old. never much too soon. No, nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be There's not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain falls from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds to fly. Rain falls from the sky, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds to fly. Rain falls from the sky, sun lights up the sky. Music makes me cry.
Thank you, Courtney. In the light of everything must change, I want to call our attention as I move into prayer to some folks who have changed. And the change is that they have left their human form for a more spiritual, ethereal one. And so in memoriam, our prayer today for those who have gone before us this past year and a half. So if it feels right for you, close your eyes or create a soft focus. Allow yourself to turn your attention within, and we'll use the breath to help us to get there. Breathe in deeply, and let the breath of Spirit fill your heart, and then exhale fully. And again, breathing in deeply to the center of your being, feel the breath of God gently massaging your heart open, and release the breath fully again. And again, breathing in deeply to the center of your being where Father, Mother, God, Spirit resides within, and then breathe out and know that God is all around us. And we know that each one of us, including these beloveds who have gone before us, are expressions of the one. We are all one, interconnected. in the unity and the wholeness, the oneness of all life. While we come here and express ourselves in a multitude of diversity, uniqueness, individuality, we remain one in that unity of all creation and all life, whether we be in this physical form or whether we move on. We are one, always and forever interconnected. And so we bless these beloveds on their journey. Knowing that while they may not have been cured, they were healed and are healed and whole in the heart of God. We are blessed to have known them, blessed to have been touched by them, and we become the blessing that they left for us. And so it is, and together we say, thank God within and all around us. Amen. Now we'll say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are an individualized expression of God. We are individualized expressions of God. I want to introduce this music video that we are about to show. It shows that we've made some progress here in our current state of affairs. And it shows us also that there's much more to do to move us forward, to bring our unity principles and values and teachings of oneness into our human experience and not just our spiritual experience. And so I would invite you to listen to the words of the song and note the evolution of history and the part of history that is yet to evolve.
I'm broken hearted, knocked down on the floor. I hear a whisper saying, try once more. Still I can't erase the memories and try
When one of us is lifted up, we are all lifted up because we are one and all lives matter. You know, we've heard a lot in the last few years about Black History. Black History Month, the Tulsa Race Massacre, and now Juneteenth. And it's called Black History. I think that's incorrect. I think that it is American history. It is about the history, or part of the history of the Black experience in America, which makes it American history. It's all of our history. It's Unity's history as we evolve and make these principles known and exemplified and lived in our lives. And so it is the evolution of Unity's history. It is human history. And a very famous man that I can't think of right now said that if we do not study and learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. Well, we've made a little progress this week, and I'm going to say that those of us at Unity are going to take a little bit of credit for what happened with the Congress and the President this week when we made Juneteenth a federal holiday. And the reason I say that is that we've had the intention to move forward. And I don't know how long it's been, but I think it's been a long time since there's been anything that bipartisan in our government in a very long time. And so I'm going to say we are making the world what we said we would, creating a world that works for all. So let's take a little bit of credit for what happened this week. So this week, we'd already planned to celebrate this Juneteenth long before I even knew anything was up with the holiday in Congress. So they're listening, apparently. Not with their ears, but somewhere deep in their spirits, they heard us. They heard us. They got it. Pardon? Speak louder. Speak louder. Speak louder next time. Yeah, hey, so this thing that we're doing, creating a world that works for all, it's working, my friends. We've made progress, so own that. So we want to celebrate Juneteenth as a celebration of freedom. And the core value affirmation for this week is that we are a diverse and inclusive community of people who serve and rely upon one another. Say that with me if you would. We are a diverse and inclusive community of people who serve and rely upon one another. Before I introduce our guest speakers, I just want to say something that we were left as a legacy by President Abraham Lincoln. I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states and parts of states are, and henceforward shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons. That was the Emancipation Proclamation. It took a little bit longer before Juneteenth came around, and some of the slaves even knew that they were free. You're going to hear a little bit about that and about how this really is in adherence with the principles, the core principles which we teach, that every single one of us is an emanation of the one Spirit. We are one, interconnected, complete, and perfect whole if we allow ourselves to be so. Each one of us, an emanation of the one Spirit. We are one. And so I want to introduce our presenters this morning. Dr. Lynetta Gaines, and yes. And following her will be one of our chaplains, Chaplain Jackie Fitzgerald, and they're going to tell us a little bit.
Thank you. This is a wonderful, wonderful morning. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me this moment to talk about the American holiday known as Juneteenth. During these times, more people than ever are uniting across racial, ethnic, and political lines to tell the truth about Black history. Not enough people, not yet, but more. Commemorating Juneteenth is a part of this historical truth-telling. Here's a brief history. January 1st, 1863. President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which decreed the end of chattel slavery in the war states, that is, states at war against the Union. And so the advancing Union Army became, for my ancestors, a freedom march. As the Union Army advanced into Confederate states, enslaved people were freed, and many of those newly freed people enlisted in the Union Army in order to join the battle. When the Civil War ended in April of 1865, enslaved people throughout the South were officially free, all except for 250,000 enslaved people in Texas. Well, they were officially free too, but they didn't know it. Certainly their enslavers weren't sharing that information. And so it wasn't until Juneteenth, June 19th, 1865, that those enslaved people learned of their freedom. Juneteenth was when, along with thousands of troops, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and read an order declaring all slaves were free, thus sounding the death knell for the institution of chattel slavery in this country. I wondered if there were Black soldiers arriving with General Granger. And on the website of the Juneteenth Legacy Project, learned that through a marvelous coincidence, thousands of colored Union troops had arrived in Galveston on the previous day. Imagine the joy of those enslaved people looking at those battalions of Union soldiers, many of whom were Black like them, and hearing that they were now free. Oh, my Lord, what a morning. That date, June 19th, has been celebrated each year in the state of Texas, beginning on the anniversary. Over the years, the celebration of Juneteenth has spread throughout the country. Here in Florida, we are fortunate to have another date to celebrate, May 20th. On May 20th, 1865, Union General Ed McCook stood before a group of Black people in Tallahassee and read the Emancipation Proclamation, marking the legal cessation of slavery in this state. Emancipation Day has been celebrated over the years in several communities in Florida, and this year, on May 20th, 2021, Emancipation Day was celebrated as a county holiday in Tallahassee's Leon County. Official, yeah. A final historical note. 1865 is also important because on December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which ended chattel slavery nationwide, not just in the South, which was the Emancipation Proclamation. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution ended chattel slavery nationwide and was ratified on December 6, 1865. And now, as Reverend Susie said, to add to our Juneteenth joy, just a few days ago on Thursday, June 17th, 2021, President Joseph R. Biden signed a bill into law acknowledging Juneteenth as a federal holiday, stating, "Great nations don't ignore their most painful moments. They embrace them." Very important. President Biden pledged to continue the work of addressing the issues that are a result of what he calls America's original sin of slavery. This new holiday marks another hard-won step in our ongoing quest to realize the all too elusive ideal of freedom. For me, this ideal is encapsulated in a poem written by the renowned poet Robert Hayden and published in the Atlantic magazine in 1947, Frederick Douglass, by Robert Hayden. When it is finally ours, this freedom, this liberty, this beautiful and terrible thing, needful to man as air, usable as earth, when it belongs at last to all, when it is truly instinct, brain matter, diastole, systole, reflex action, when it is finally won, when it is more than the gaudy mumbo-jumbo of politicians. This man, this Douglass, this former slave, this Negro, beaten to his knees, exiled, visioning a world where none is lonely, none hunted, alien. This man, superb in love and logic, this man shall be remembered. Oh, not with statues of rhetoric, and not with legends and poems and wreaths of bronze alone, but with the lives grown out of his life, the lives fleshing his dream of the beautiful, needful thing. May each of us, here at Unity and beyond, strive to flesh this poetically stated dream of freedom, freedom, this beautiful, needful thing. Thank you.
Oh, that's a hard act to follow. Oh, my God. Because I wasn't supposed to be here. In fact, I turned this opportunity down, but Spirit spoke to me hard and demanding. Woke me up in the middle of the night and said, "You're doing it." I'm doing it for two reasons, because Spirit has demanded, but also I am a product of that slavery. My ancestors were enslaved. I know exactly what plantation they were on. And I know that the plantation owner had his way about my grandmother, because I could tell her color was different. Anyway, I'm here. Not to tell you the history part of it, so to speak. I'm here to kind of fill in some of the joy stuff. You know, Texas people, when they found out that they were free, they wanted to remember that day. So they called it Juneteenth, which is short for June 19th. 250,000 slaves were in Texas at that time when the reading of the General Order number 3. And that order really, it said they were free, but it didn't give them any resources or things to do other than go back to your masters and ask them for a job. Ask them if you can stay on the plantation. There were no legal things, no rights, no legal stuff set up for them, no place for them to go. In fact, they were told not to go to the military base because they would not be taken in. So many of these slaves did go back to their plantations, and many of them were tricked into doing things what we call sharecropping, where most of the time they ended up not making any money, but owing. And many of them tried to leave. I know cases where they were leaving and they actually were threatened, their lives were threatened. They couldn't leave. But the people in Texas wanted to remember this day. So each year they gather together to celebrate, to remember to remember the day they became free. I can't imagine what it would have felt like to not be able to do anything, but I think COVID gave us an idea of what that was like when we were kind of stuck in our homes. But since we still had freedom, we could go to the grocery store if we wanted to. But these people could not go anyplace. They couldn't even marry who they wanted to marry. They couldn't have a dream because it wasn't going to happen. Anyway, they did. They continued to celebrate each year, and those celebrations migrated to other states. All states except 3 states now recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday, except North Dakota, South Dakota, and Hawaii. The 3 states you wouldn't have thought it would have had any problem, but they did. So anyway, to give you an idea what they did do, they did gather in each other's homes when they had homes. They went to their churches to celebrate. And in this celebration, they actually did things like baseball, prayer sessions, voting issues that would come up. They would discuss them. They did parades in their towns. Now, but many of them were restricted because every time they would go together, there were all kinds of social restrictions, such as just to give you an inkling of that, they developed a black code where blacks would not be able to do things. Slavery had there was no justice. They had no rights. They had no legal rights to do anything. You had the Jim Crow issue come up. You had KKK, and you had lots of hanging at this time, which there is a hanging museum down in Montgomery, Alabama, of all places, but it's there, and it's worthwhile going to see. But they had fun. It was like a party when they got together. And one of the things that they did do, and you see me wearing, I'm wearing red. Red was a very special color for the people that celebrated Juneteenth. It was because they wanted to symbolize the blood that has been shed through slavery. Realize these people were enslaved for over 300 years. That's many generations. Because at that time, people didn't live that long either. Anyway, they would have things in their celebration would be red, such as they would have things like strawberry pie, because a meal was not complete unless you had red desserts, strawberry pie, red velvet cake, strawberry ice cream, and red drinks. These red drinks came from something called a hibiscus drink, and they came from Africa. Many of us don't know, but a lot of the foods that we eat today came from Africa. They brought them over on the slave ships, and the people that were on those slave ships used that food and introduced that food into the American menu. Black-eyed peas and rice. You know, slavery empowered this country to great wealth. We made, as Americans, a lot of money on the backs of slaves. Rice, cotton, ironwork, building your Capitol, the White House, they're all built by slaves. So the slaves contribute a lot, but even today, we're still kind of wondering if we are really free. As you saw in this video, a lot of things are different for people of color. So the red, again, was for the slaves that had died. And many of what the red really represented was thousands and millions of slaves died crossing the Atlantic. They were thrown overboard. It was so crowded If you've ever seen some of the ships or drawings of the ships, there was no place to sleep. Basically, they were head and toes together. And for this celebration also, they developed a flag. The flag is red, white, and blue. It has a white star in the middle of it to signify Texas. You know, take the star of Texas. So that's one of the things that came out of this. Now, how it became a federal holiday is another story. Since Martin Luther King's time and the marching of the poor people, there has been a push to get this as a federal holiday. It wasn't until Spirit spoke that we got it, because I believe Spirit was really talking, because when I found out it was going to become a federal holiday, I couldn't believe it. I go like, oh my God. No wonder I was demanded to do this. I got chills. But one of the key people in this push was Miss Oprah Lee, who many of you probably saw her on TV with President Biden as he signed this bill into law. And she was really magnificent. She was 87 years old when she had a campaign, a walking campaign, from Fort Lauderdale to Washington, D.C., to tell the Congress people to make this into a federal holiday. She also had a petition of she got 1.5 million signatures to take to Congress. Of course, that was her, and now it is law. She's 94 years old, and she got to see it signed. I just recently found out about her life as a child. She was 11 years old. Her family moved into a house that was in a white neighborhood. And before they got settled in, people came and threw rocks at their home and later threatened them, so they left. People took all of their furniture out of the house and burned it. For an 11-year-old, it must have had a tremendous impact on her life, because this was her mission to get this as a federal. And the major point of this holiday was to remember the past and to remember the future, and to hope for a better life. So to remember that they were freed on this day, and to look to the future with hope and joy. Now, I personally feel that Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday marks the beginning of freedom for all. As John F. Kennedy stated in a speech he made on June 11, 1963, we're really going back, huh? This nation was founded by many men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on principles that all men are created equal, and that the rights of everyone are diminished when the rights of one are threatened. He said, we preach freedom around the world, and we mean it. But are we to say to the world, and much more importantly to each other, that this is the land of the free except for the Negro? Juneteenth, I feel, is American history. It is the story of slavery in this country. It was painful and dark. It is a story that needs to be told so that all Americans can be free. I see Juneteenth as a great opportunity for our nation to ask those difficult questions of itself. Will we be a nation of freedom? We can't hide 400 years of history. this slavery system, greatly enhanced by the wealth of this country. Do your research. Slaves were not lazy. Many of them died working. Sun up to sundown. That was their day. Sun up to sundown. Slavery is one of America's greatest oppressive systems, a system that is still rooted in our division and hate. Although slavery does not exist in this country anymore, many of us ask if we are really free. We heard people talk recently, especially with the Black Lives things. But when you have to tell your sons or your grandson to be careful when the police stops you, are you really free? When you have to, dread when your children leave your house. Anyway, slavery, Juneteenth became a national federal holiday. I feel that this was the perfect time to form a more perfect union, which is what we started out with. Democracy is what they say, it's an experiment. Let's make it come true. It has never lived up to what it's supposed to be. All men are created equal. I'd like to do now, to close this, with a prayer. I guess because I am a chaplain here, the first thing we could do is pray. You could lightly close your eyes if you want to, or loving present, Spirit of my being, we give thanks for the joy and happiness this day continues to give in remembering what was and what can be. We give thanks for all of those who have opened their hearts to recognize this celebration is a celebration of freedom for all. We give thanks for the words written in our Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, all humans, are created equal, that they are endowed by you, God, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We pray that all Americans will see Juneteenth as a great opportunity for our nation to become that land of all free people. We pray that we walk in light and love and recognize this time of healing and forgiving. We pray that we make a world that does work for all. That is our mission. Thank you. Amen.
I want to thank our two presenters, Dr. Lynetta Gaines and our chaplain, Jackie Fitzgerald. And I just want to say that as they've shared with us, this is American history, this is Unity's history, this is our humanity's history. We are all creations of the one Spirit, interconnected in the unity and the oneness and the wholeness that is life itself. None of us is truly free until all of us are free. And Juneteenth sets us on that road, even more than the 4th of July, which comes up next month, which left a few people out. Now we're complete. We're moving forward. Behold, we make all things new.
Okay, Lisa, go ahead. glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we'll be built sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory. Oh, oh, yeah. Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against us. The glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. Since it go against us, skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom's like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, the spirit is visiting us. Doing living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with the hands up. When they go down, we women and man up. They say, stay down, we stand up. Shots we on the ground. The camera panned up. King pointed to the mouth, and we ran up. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Oh. Isn't won, and we'll fight on to the finish. And when it's all said and done, we'll cry glory, oh glory, yeah. We'll cry glory, glory, oh glory, glory, oh. Selma is now for every woman and man, child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never looking back, we've done hundreds of miles. From dark roads, heroes to become a hero. Face the League of Justice, his power with the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Father faces Jim Crow under a bald eagle. Biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in a dream we had an epiphany. Now we right our wrongs in history. No one can win the war individually and take the wisdom of the elders and the other people's energy. Welcome to the story called Victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, it will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, oh, glory, yeah, glory, glory, oh, glory, oh, glory. When the war is won, when that's all said and done, we'll cry glory, we'll cry glory, oh glory, oh glory, oh yeah, glory.
I hope you all noticed the typo in those lyrics where it said, when the war is won, O-N-E. I think that was right. When the war is won will be when we know we are one. We are one. That's how you win the war. Before we move on, I want to thank all of our presenters, all of our musicians for pulling off something that was, I was pretty demanding. And I got to say, You did me proud. Thank you all. I want to call our chaplains forward, please. Here's one. Unfortunately, two of them are back there working technology, so know that you're surrounded in prayer from our prayer chaplains, so they're back there. Know they're there. Know that you can ask one of them to be in prayer with and for you for a greater possibility in your life or in our collective lives. You can make private appointments with them as well. These are our prayer chaplains who keep us on the straight and narrow of prayer, and so let's thank them for their service. Some of my directions are gone. Somebody took my notes. That's okay. Now it gets dangerous because I have no notes. Nope. Nope, that's not it. We'll just ad-lib from here on out. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Next, we have, don't forget, our Music and Inspiration service, 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening right here. If you've never been to one, you really owe it to yourself to check it out because it's really quite different from our Sunday celebration, and it's really wonderful. It's a wonderful little spiritual oasis in the middle of the week. So join us 7 o'clock right here, and the theme this week is Illuminate. Ooh, 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 ooh. Illuminate. The music will be brought to you by Elaine Silver and myself. So please come. And thanks for joining us today on such a special celebration. And let's thank the United States Congress and President Biden for making it that much more special by listening to the intention and the prayer that we have set forward. So thank you guys up in Washington, D.C. And now, people get this amazes me that people get nervous now that we're doing the offering in a very different way. People are nervous that they won't get a chance to give their money. I love that. Love that idea. But here's the deal. We're doing it in a safe way so we don't have to pass a lot of things around. So you will have some wonderful people standing at the doors on your way out, and they will be holding the offering baskets, and they will be looking at you with a joyous smile. Know that your very presence here is gift enough. However, if you choose to give of yourself, your financial abundance, whatever that may be, search your heart. Let your heart be your guide as to what you can give. And I know many of you send your gift in, and some of you do it electronically, and on and on and on. So not everybody puts something right in the basket. So just know that if you're one of those people, just don't miss the opportunity. Wave your hand over the basket and give a blessing. All right? Wave the hand over the basket and give a blessing. It's the energy with which you give that's important. Okay? So just know that, and know that we are grateful for whatever it is that you're called to give. And now that we're coming back in person, I'll invite you to also give of your talent. Share the gifts you've been given with all the rest of us. All right? So, let's do our affirmation for our giving. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And so it is, and together we say, thank God within and all around us. And now let's do our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now the peace song with the lyrics. Sing.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. To God, our Creator, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with this is the moment now. Make with every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there